Hello and welcome back, audience. My name is MassiveBrad and welcome back to my FIFA 21 Liverpool career mode. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just want to say a huge big thank you for love and support on the channel. And as always, guys, at the start of today's episode, we're quickly going to look at the games that lie ahead. Now, you guys will know from previous FIFAs, at the end of every single episode, we quickly touch up on which two games we're going to play and which game we're going to simulate in the very next episode. Now, sometimes this can change, but thankfully in this episode, it hasn't. We are going to play the game against Arsenal in the FA Community Shield, hoping to pick up our first piece of silverware as the newly Liverpool manager. It'd be great if we could pick it up. Unfortunately, in real life, we didn't. We're then going to play the first Premier League game, which is against the newly promoted Fulham. Very difficult game. I think any teams that come up from the division below, the newly promoted teams, have got nothing to lose when they're coming up against the Premier League champions, so they may as well just go for it. Usually I would like to play the away games and simulate the home games just because, of course, we've got that little bit of a home advantage. But in this case, it's the first Premier League game. Of course, we need to be playing at home, in front of the home fans, or more the way the world is right now, playing in front of the home fans that are watching, sadly, from home and not from the stands. Which then, of course, leaves the final game in today's episode, which is against the Saints, Southampton. We're travelling away from home. A little bit of a risk simulating that game with them then having the home advantage. But we've got to weigh up, do we play the game away from home, or do we play the first opening day game in the Premier League against Fulham in front of our own fans? And, of course, we had to be playing in front of the home fans. Now, a lot to get through in episode 2. The main topic, which is probably in the title that you guys have been waiting on, transfers. Transfers in, loan players out, selling players, loan players coming in. You want to get the nitty gritty part of the transfers. But before we dive into that, I want to firstly say a massive, and I mean a massive, from deep down here, a massive thank you for the support on episode 1. Episode 1 of the Liverpool career mode went live, I do believe by the time you guys are watching this, 2 days ago. It went live on Saturday. And it was a premiere for you guys to come and watch along with me live and chat to me. And the feedback that I received from you guys was insane. Obviously, there was a couple of original ideas that no other FIFA YouTuber has done, no other career mode YouTuber has done. And it seemed to go down very well with you guys. One of them being the comment conference. You guys really seem to latch onto that and say, Brad, this is unbelievable. A lot of you enjoying the new animations to the channel as well. And I just want to say a massive thank you, because for a new FIFA to roll round and me to roll out episode 1 and it to get such a good positive feedback from you guys and such a good positive reflection, it just shows that the hard work that I put on behind the scenes for these videos really reflects to you guys. So I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for the support, the love, the likes, the shares on that episode 1. If we can repeat it through episode 2 and throughout the whole of the Liverpool career mode, that would be absolutely outstanding. But one of the main topics that you guys sort of picked on and enjoyed and loved was, of course, the comment conference. Something new to FIFA 21, a new idea that I came up with in the early hours of the morning. Now, obviously, we discussed it on FIFA 20. My favourite part of the videos, which we're about to do in a minute, is reading out your guys' comment. You take time and effort to leave comments for me. But I didn't want to just start the episode and just read them out. I wanted to put a bit of a fun twist on it. I wanted to make it a sort of original idea, and that's exactly what I've done with the comment conference. It's where I can go through some of your comments that may be regarding the Liverpool career mode, and then of course I can just read out the rest of the comments. So without any further ado, let's jump over to the comment conference and see what you guys, the media, have been asking. Well, Sweeper Keeper, the lads have just, of course, come off the back end of having holidays. We've just done the pre-season tournament. Unfortunately, we didn't get as far as I would have liked. I've had a chat with the board and explained that we're still lacking a little bit of fitness. We're still sort of working out what starting 11 we want to sort of play with. We're still working hard in the background, behind the scenes. We did unfortunately get knocked out in the semi-finals by Borussia Dortmund on penalties, something that on the day can go either way. If it's a penalty shootout, it can go your way, or it doesn't. It's as simple as that. And sadly, this time, it didn't go our way. But the lads have come back. We've been training hard. And, of course, they're all very excited to get involved in this game against Arsenal for the FA Community Shield. It's our first chance of a piece of silverware. And certainly the lads seem keen to be bringing that home to Liverpool. As for the Premier League, of course, the lads have been waiting for this moment for the Premier League to kick off. We've had, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, the coronavirus, It's been very iffy at the moment, very touch and go as to whether the Premier League would kick off, when it'd sort of kick off, would it be delayed, would it be brought forwards? But we're finally here now, ready to kick off the Premier League. And of course, the first team that we are facing off is a newly promoted team in Fulham. It's certainly going to be a difficult game. We've got Scott Parker, who's is probably going to look to do some damage. They're coming up against the Premier League champions. They've got nothing to lose here, so I'm sure Mitrovic is going to cause us a lot of problems. But we're Liverpool. We're coming off the back end of a great season last season. We're raring to go. Fitness is good. We don't currently have any injuries to any of the starting 11 or any of the other players. So I'm excited to get the Premier League underway, and I'm excited to hopefully bring home the community or the FA Community Shield. Well, I've certainly got a great bunch of lads here. James Milner certainly being within that bunch. He's a great leader in the dressing room. He's a great leader on the pitch. And of course, he's working hard and one of the hardest on the training ground. The issue I have right now is trying to pick a team and get a team that works together is very difficult. Obviously, I'm a new manager. We've only had pre-season 3 weeks ago. We're about to kick off in the FA Community Shield. We're about to kick off the Premier League. I'm still working with individual players. I've sort of working out what my favourite starting 11 is and sort of the one that works for me, the one that I feel is going to cause the most damage to oppositions, the one that's going to defend the best. And James Milner is certainly at the front of that boat. He's always going to be part of my plans. He's very versatile. He can play from left back to centre mid to CDM. He can play a little bit more forwards if needs be. He can cover at centre back. He's one of those players that is what every team needs. Every team in the world of football needs a James Milner, a player that will happily play in any position, and whether it's defending or whether it's going forward, he can flick of a switch, he can change into that player and bring a lot to the team. So James Milner is certainly going to be a massive player in this first season, hopefully for many more seasons, but we'll have to see. He is getting on a little bit, and he does tell me that his legs are starting to get a little bit stiff, but we'll have to see sort of where he slots into the team. For the game against Arsenal, I haven't actually sorted out the starting 11 just yet, but if he's certainly not in the starting 11, he will be on the bench, and especially if we do take the lead, he's a player that can come on and sort of control the midfield, help out the defenders, so I'm sure we'll certainly be seeing him in that game against Arsenal. Well, I'm currently having a lot of talks with players behind the scenes of sort of if they're going to slot into this team, whether they're going to be able to break into the team. And of course, the one thing that I don't want to do is have someone sat in the reserves that's got potential that could either go to another team and do wonders there, or even go out on loan just for a little bit of a loan experience. And I don't usually like to talk in press conferences and to the media because obviously you could change the way I say things, you could sort of put it in a bad way or a good way. But with you asking regarding transfers, I have got my little notebook here, and currently I can confirm that 2 teams are looking to take the young goalkeeper Keller out on loan, and also a team are looking at Nathaniel Phillips. Now, of course, I am in talks with a few other players. Let me just have a little look through my notebook. There is another 3 players that I am in talks with potentially going out on loan, and of course, there's a player that we're waiting for a transfer and an actual positive transfer to come in for him, but he does know that he is going to be transfer listed. He does know that he is going to be sold, but until we sort of get a positive bid and the right amount of money for him, we won't be letting him go. But for now, I can confirm that Keller and Phillips will be looking at going out on loan. The other 3 we're still currently in talks with as to whether they want to go out on loan for the experience, whether they're happy to sit in the reserves and maybe play in some of the other competitions. But for me here, I want to give everyone a fair chance. But if players feel that they're going to struggle to get into the starting 11 on the bench and they think the best move for them is to go out on loan, then I'll certainly be open to listen to it. And that's sort of the way that I want to run this club. I want to give everyone a fair chance. But if players know that they're not going to break into the starting 11 and they say, boss, can I go out on loan for a year and maybe I'll get a little bit more game time? I'm certainly open to that. So as offers do come in, I'm sure you guys will know from the likes of BBC Sport and Sky Sport. They will announce, of course, when we let them know if any players are going out on loan or if any players are being sold or brought into the club. So before we end today's comment conference, just want to say thank you so much to all the media for those questions, first of all. And of course, there's always other questions and statements and comments that are made through media that don't necessarily get asked in this room. So I'm going to firstly jump over to some of the questions or comments that have come in. First one coming in from Corey Fights, saying, I wouldn't sign anyone unless it's from the youth to be realistic. Now, Corey, with this one, you did use the hashtag comment conference, but what you guys sort of need to understand, and this is why I'm doing it in two parts, you guys have just had the hashtag comment conference, and then at the end, I'm going to pretend like I'm sort of answering questions that have come in off social media. That's not really a comment that I can answer in a conference. You're saying I wouldn't sign. That's giving me your opinion. It's not a question. I need questions from the media, not statements. So if you do leave a comment, I'll of course address it at the end of the comment conference as I'm addressing it to you guys now. But if you're wanting to get a comment conference message put out there for me to answer, it's got to be a question, not just telling me that you wouldn't sign anyone unless you want it from the youth. First of all, Corey, I probably am going to sign someone. Obviously, that's the fun part of FIFA. Transfers in, transfers out. Who that may be, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Next comment coming in from Niall, saying, over an hour-long episode, you'll love to see it. Yes, you do, Niall, and I hope you did enjoy that first episode. Sweeper Keeper saying, great video, keep it up. I will be sure to keep it up. We're only just starting over here on FIFA 21, and it's about to get so much bigger. Trev saying, again, Trev, this is for you. Tyler Adams in for Fabinho as backup. Hashtag comment conference. That's not really the sort of questions I want to be asking. The comment coming from Ethan here of what players will you be sending out on loan for experience? That's a question. He's asking me a question that I can answer. Telling me you want me to buy a player isn't asking me a question. You could have worded it as... there's rumours at the moment that you're interested in bringing Tyler Adams in for Fabinho. Is this true? Yes or no? And then I could have answered that as a question. But just saying Tyler Adams in as a backup to Fabinho isn't really a question. I can't really answer it. So you guys need to understand they've got to be questions. And if you've got a statement like that you want to put out, that's fine. I'll read it out at the end. But if you want it to sort of be part of the comment conference, you need to put it in sort of a question way. You need to be asking me a question, not a demand as such. PNA Away Day Vlog says, great video, Brad. A big year ahead. Hashtag FIFA 21. Yes, it is a big year ahead, and hopefully we'll hit the floor running. Trev saying, looking forward to it, Brad. Thank you very much, Trev. I appreciate it. Bob Games saying, let's go. Trev again with another comment saying, I'd like to see Daka. Well, you've got to understand, Trev, that if the Liverpool Echo are in a conference and they're asking questions, whoever is asking the questions wouldn't just say to Liverpool, I want to see Mbappe here. They would sort of say maybe Mbappe's been heavily linked at the moment. Is there any truth behind this, or is it just paper talk? You could sort of word it like that. Hopefully you guys are sort of understanding. I know obviously this is a brand new feature that I am bringing to FIFA 21, an original idea, but hopefully after this episode you guys sort of get a better idea as to how it works. You need to be asking me questions, and for like that one you'd like to see Daka, maybe where that is in currently in the news, Daka is linked to Liverpool. Is this something that you can put some truth into? Is this something that you can touch up on? And then sort of I can sort of answer that question from that and give you an answer. But just saying I'd like to see Daka isn't really a comment that I want to be answering in the comment conference. Doesn't mean you guys can't leave those comments. Just don't put hashtag comment conference, because it's not really a question I can of course answer in the conference. And the last comment from Trev again saying, Brad, you are the English Klopp. Well, I hope so, Trev, because I certainly would like to live up to his standards in this first season at Liverpool. But again, thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you for the media coming out. I appreciate all your questions. Thank you for all the comments from the media coming in on social medias. And I think that is going to do today's comment conference. So up next, we're taking on the Gunners Arsenal. Now, I know you guys are waiting to hear my thoughts on transfers, whether that's in or out, loan in or loan out. But I think you guys also want to say gameplay. And the important thing for me is, in the first episode, I got to play the game against Borussia Dortmund. But I've only played one game on FIFA 21. And I think that, although it wasn't the best of games, and yes, we scored 2 goals, they scored 2 goals, I've sort of got to work on my defending. The important thing is for me to just keep getting hands on, and the more practice I put in, the better player I will become. We will be, of course, playing the game against Arsenal. We're travelling to Wembley to potentially bring back the FA Community Shield to Liverpool. We didn't manage to do it in real life. We'll certainly try and do it in this career mode on FIFA 21. But you can now see the lineup. Fairly usual lineup that we are putting out. We've also got to talk about sort of Henderson's position at the moment. We are getting warned that he's a CDM, but you're playing him at centre mid. You probably need to train him into that. Again, something else that we will discuss in today's episode, which is the development plans, transfers, all that will come, ladies and gentlemen. But I think for now, We'll play the game against Arsenal. We'll play the first game against Fulham. Then we'll talk transfers and development. And then, of course, we'll simulate that final game against Southampton at the end of today's episode. But you can now see the lineup. We've gone with Sadio Mane out on the left wing, Bobby Firmino at striker, Salah out on the right wing, Gini Wijnaldum linking up with Jordan Henderson in the central midfield roles. A little deeper, the Brazilian man Fabinho in the central defensive midfield. Then Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez and Trent at the back with Alisson between the sticks. Let's get into this game against Arsenal and let's bag our first piece of silverware. Here we go, lads. Excited for this one. Willian, Aubameyang. They've certainly got a lot up top, not so much at the back. I'm sure it's going to be Leno. We've got Van Dijk, Salah, Trent and Mane warming up here. I'm excited for this. We have travelled to Wembley, of course. We have got fans in the stadium. I thought EA were going to potentially take the fans out due to COVID-19 and coronavirus to give it an empty stadium like it is in real life. But you know what, to have fans here cheering me on, I'm excited, playing from the touchline. I am ready to get this game underway. Daniel Ceballos, Aubameyang walking to the centre circle to get us kicked off. It is going to be Arsenal to get us kicked off in this first half period. Let's get it underway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and win our first piece of silverware. Come on, Fabinho, well done. There's Barnes. Ball through there now to Aubameyang. Don't dive in, don't dive in. Don't dive in, ball in behind. Barnes is there, it's 1-0. It's 1-0 Arsenal. I do believe that's Harvey Barnes they must have bought from Leicester City early on into this new career mode. Strange one for them buying Harvey Barnes, but it looks like they got Harvey Barnes out on the left, Aubameyang through the middle, and Willian on the right. It is 1-0. And it is Harvey Barnes that gives them the lead in the 10th minute. Not a great start to this game in the FA Community Shield. Is Roberto Firmino. Out now to Salah. Salah going to turn his man nicely done. It's Fabinho. Passing it around the air nicely, lads. Come on, here's Mane. Mane going to put it in behind now for Bobby Firmino. Back into Sadio Mane. Mane to Salah. Home! 1-1. Thank you, Sadio Mane. Beautiful. Come on, Mane. There we go. Come on. We're back in it. We're back in it. Okay, relax. Again, guys, I'm getting used to passing the whole new mechanics of how FIFA 21 runs, but it's a beautiful little 1-2 between Mane and Bobby. They're doing what they do in real life. Into Bobby. Bobby back to Mane in the centre of the goal, and Mane slots that one home. Bird Leno, unfortunately, doesn't get a hand to it for the Arsenal fans, players and manager, but we do manage to bring it back to level terms in the 25th minute. Come on, lads, we've got to push on now. Come on, Gini, make a run off me, son. Nicely done. Let's go into the middle now for Henderson, who's going to drop the shoulder, get round his man. Jordan Henderson, let's fire. It's a great save from Leno. Henderson getting into some tasty positions, trying to get a goal in on the score sheet. Unfortunately, just couldn't convert that one. It's a great chance, a great shot, but an even better save from Leno as he gets down nice and low to his right side. There's Henderson. To Bobby Firmino. We haven't got too much going on here, but I've now got a run of Gini Wijnaldum out wide. Gini through on goal, hits it first time. It's a rocket from Gini Wijnaldum, and he puts it in the back of the net to make it 2-1 right before half time. Gini Wijnaldum. Come on, Gini. Beautiful. Bobby holds that ball up. Gini runs through on his left foot outside the boot, curls it out of the reach of Bird Leno. It's a beautiful strike. Bends it out wide, bends it back in round the keeper, and we have taken the lead in the 43rd minute. And hopefully we can look to see this first half out and then push on in the second half to score a couple more. What do I do here? Do I swing this ball in and look for Van Dijk, try and get him in at this near post? Let's get Van Dijk running. Ball in. Van Dijk's going to be there. Looks to flick it on. Oh my word. Oh, the linesman's got the flag up. I thought the run was offside, but what a well-worked free kick. What a well-worked free kick. Pinged it in. There's Van Dijk. It tried to come back on. Oh, it is tight. It is tight, but he is offside. I do agree with the linesman. But what a way to score that. We put that ball in. Van Dijk's there, ready to flick it over Bird Leno. We did just that, and hopefully we can win this header. We can see out this first half. Let's just control the ball now. Gomez to Trent. Trent up to Henderson. We're not going to get the opportunity to play that final ball. And we are going in at half-time at Wembley Stadium. 2-1 up against Arsenal after unfortunately going 1-0 down. We're not going to keep that clean sheet thanks to Harvey Barnes. We're playing some decent football here. Very level with the possession. We've had 4 shots, they've had 2. We've had 3 on target, they've had 1. Very, very happy with how this Liverpool team are playing so far. We're controlling it well. Still got to get a little bit used to defend them. But as for the midfield, bossing it, and the front three were absolutely solid. So I'm happy to jump back into the second half with Bobby Firmino kicking us off. No substitutes needed just yet. And hopefully we can push on in the second half, score a couple more goals and make it entertaining for you guys. Go through now to Henderson, who's wanting to make a bit of a run. Feed that through now to Bobby Firmino. Bobby going to cut back, lays it off to Henderson. Henderson's there, Genie's there, it's blocked. And how have we not taken the lead by 3 goals? Play this ball out now. Here's Thiago. Get over that far side now for Genie. Let's go, Brewster. Go on, Brewster. I've got you. We're not going to be able to get there. Let's try and feed it through now to Brewster if we can. Here's Diego Jota. Jota waiting for the overlap here to Robertson. Jota, I need you on the overlap. Let's go, Jota. Good lad. Great header. Let's get past. Nice little ball in now. Coming in for Genie. Who's going to get there against the bar? Genie went out. I'm looking for his second goal. Unfortunately, he heads it. It's a great header. Lovely looping header over the defenders, over Leno. But unfortunately, this one is straight onto the bar. It was unlucky. Real hasn't really got much options here. But I'm going to start running. Let's play it through now to Genie. If Real wants to make that run through, he's unfortunately not going to be able to get away from his man. But here's Genie with a little bit of space. I'm going to hit this with Genie Wijnaldum. Unfortunately, it's blocked and cleared up by Arsenal. Come on. And as we see the game out, it was only 2 minutes added on. It ended up being 4 minutes. But we have just won our first piece of silverware. We managed to beat Arteta and his Arsenal team 2-1. Harvey Barnes from Leicester City joining Arsenal scored the first goal in the 10th minute. It's going to be Virgil van Dijk to lift the trophy in the FA Community Shield. We took Henderson off. I completely forgot that it meant he wouldn't be lifting the trophy. I unfortunately can't hear anything right now. My headset keeps dying, but I'm going to try and put it back on for the last couple of minutes, just while we can lift this trophy. The first piece of silverware. Way! Well done, Virgil van Dijk. A solid performance. Still need to work on the defending a little bit. Need to work on it in training. Need to work on it myself. But going forward, we seem to be comfortable on the ball, bossing it in the midfield. And what a great result and a great time to win our first piece of silverware. 3 weeks ago, we come off the back end of our pre-season tournament. We unfortunately got knocked out by Borussia Dortmund in the semi-finals. 3 weeks later, we've rested, we've trained, we've worked hard. And our first piece of silverware up for grabs was the FA Community Shield against Arsenal. We managed to go on and beat them 2-1. Genie Wijnaldum picks up man of the match with an 8.7. We absolutely bossed it on paper. 2 shots, 1 on target for Arsenal. 11 shots, 7 on target for us. Leno keeping us out at many opportunities. But we managed to put 2 in the back of the net. We beat Arsenal 2-1. And we win our first piece of silverware in the FA Community Shield. And our first piece of silverware is me being the Liverpool manager. What a start to our career. And what a start to this season 1 at Liverpool. Well, we're finally here, the moment that I have certainly been waiting for, and that is to kick off the Premier League. We're taking on the newly promoted Scott Parker's team, Fulham. Of course, they've got Mitrovic up top. It's going to be a difficult game. They've got nothing to lose here. They're coming up against the Premier League former champions. They're just going to go for it. You can see, unfortunately, due to us playing in the FA Community Shield, we're struggling a little bit with fitness. Salah, Firmino, Robertson, Van Dijk, Trent. But we've just got to do what we can, make the subs where we can, and hopefully rotate the team at half-time if we're in a position to do so. But you can now see the lineup. We're going with Sadio Mane out on the left wing, Bobby Firmino striker, Salah out on the right wing, Thiago linking up with the captain Jordan Henderson in the central midfield. Rolls a little deeper. We've got Fabinho in the central defensive midfield, then Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez and Trent at the back with Alisson between the sticks. Let's get into our first game in the Premier League, and let's hopefully kick it off with a win. Here we go. Look at Anfield. Wow. I sit, if you imagine where the manager is, Klopp normally on the touchline, and the third tier, so the highest tier, right on the halfway line. That's where I sit when I go to the Liverpool games. And you guys haven't got long now before we break out the Liverpool book. In here is all my transfers, in, out, loan players, sell players, buy players, tactics for this Liverpool team. No one can get their hands on this book, otherwise I am in serious trouble. But we've got one more game to go. Before we simulate that game against Southampton, we'll be talking about my idea for the team, transfers, and you guys are going to be voting on some straw polls that will be down below in the description and down below in the comment section. You need to be voting. I'm excited for this one. The new signing in Thiago gets his first start for Liverpool. The front three of Salah, Mane and Bobby Firmino I am ready to get this game kicked off against Fulham. Bobby Firmino gets it kicked off in the first half period. Let's get it underway. And come on, Redman. Manny waiting for the overlap there of Robertson. Robertson now going to look at getting in behind. I've got Henderson towards that back post. Ball in. Henderson's there. Oh, it's a great strike from Henderson, but a comfortable save from the keeper. Great start though, and a great ball in from Andy Robertson. Intercept that ball. Nicely done. Here's Manny. Go up the line now to Thiago. Here we go. Let's move now, lads. Come on, Manny on the inside. Manny is on the inside. He's going to get past his man. It's a beautiful ball there from Thiago. Great counter-attack here from one side of the field to the other. Sadio Mane on his left foot. Looks at drilling it in between the keeper and the post. And unfortunately, he rattles the post. But can't put it in the back of the net. It was a tough angle there. It does come off. Oh, it comes straight off the post. Don't believe that come off the keeper. Uh-oh, we've got to be careful now. They're certainly starting to get into the pockets of space on us. Ball through. Slide in. Let's get there. Well done, Alisson. Get rid of the ball. Nicely done. Get rid of the ball. That was panic at the end there. A few little string passes together and Fulham were in behind. I do believe it was Mitrovic through to Kieri. And they were through on goal. He slided it over to the far side and we could have easily went 1-0 down there. We've got to be careful. It's great going forwards, but we've got to get this defending underway. No results coming in from any of the other games just yet around the other grounds. And I'm happy to jump back into the second half with this team. We've got to keep knocking at the door, but we really need to be putting one in the back of the net in the next 10-15 minutes. Go on the inside, beautiful. And go Thiago straight through there now to Mane. Look at this. This is what I call a counter-attack. Here comes Sadio Mane, the deadly man. Sadio Mane on that right foot. Looks to Bell 1-0. Sadio Mane. Mane seems to be the man in this team right now that is deadly on the counter. You get that ball to Sadio Mane. Obviously, Bobby and Salah not getting into their form just yet. But Sadio Mane, you get him through one-on-one with a keeper. And he will always look to bury it in that far corner. It's a beautiful goal from Sadio Mane as we now take the lead against the newly promoted Fulham and put them well and truly in their place and show them the champions are here. Here's Keita. Fabinho straight through there now to Minamino. We deal with that nicely at the back. We start moving up towards the pitch, to the centre of the pitch, and we are going to get a win at home. Not the most exciting games for you guys, but unfortunately one of those games where you may have to sit deep and play out for a counter-attack. It's one of those scrappy games where I didn't feel like we were getting overpowered or we were getting dominated by Fulham, but a game where we certainly couldn't get the ball forwards enough to try and score goals. We weren't getting enough opportunities from the midfield. We were struggling to sort of pick it out from the back. There was maybe 2 attempts for Fulham where they seemed to be sort of putting a lot of pressure on us. We dealt with it well. We get a 1-0 victory over Fulham. I'm not complaining that we didn't get that win, and I'm sure on paper 8 shots, 5 on target, 1-0. Probably could have been 2 or 3-0 from those stats. Fulham having 4 shots, 1 on target. We dealt with it well. Sadio Mane picks up an 8.3 rating and man of the match for us. It was a fairly decent game. Probably just not too exciting for you guys. It wasn't end-to-end stuff. It wasn't like a 5-3 or a 3-0. Just a comfortable 1-0, but a 1-0 victory at home over the newly promoted Fulham, who literally had nothing to lose. To be honest, I'm very happy with the result. We bagged 3 points. We beat Fulham 1-0. We keep a clean sheet. We win the game. What more could we ask for? Our first Premier League game and our first piece of silverware up for grabs in today's episode. And we managed to do both. Very happy from my opinion. Hopefully for you guys it is as well. Right guys, and up next we take on the Saints Southampton away from home for our second game in the Premier League and our final game of today's episode. Now, obviously, I discussed it in episode 1 that we would be getting back to the usual, playing 2 games and simulating a game. When I simulate this game against Southampton, even at half-time, I am 3-0 down, or Trent's got a free kick in a good position, or Mo Salah or Mane are about to take a penalty, I am not going to be jumping in. Now, something I need to ask you guys, and there is going to be a straw poll, and it's probably going to be the first straw poll of today's episode. There's going to be a lot of straw polls for you guys to vote on, so please do go and vote on them. But the first straw poll is going to be a simple one. With the simulated 2D graphic when we're watching it, do you A, want me to watch the whole entire game and put it in, or do you, like when we play games, want me to cut it down to highlights? Now, in episode 1, I cut it down to highlights because I play 5-minute halves, meaning when I actually physically play a game, there's 10 minutes worth of gameplay, and I cut it down to highlights. Simulated matches are twice as quick, meaning if I'm playing 5-minute halves, it means that they are 2.5-minute halves, meaning a full game is going to be 5 minutes. Because it's twice as quick, it's half the time. So watching a whole simulated game is going to be 5 minutes. And I need to know from you guys, do you want me to watch and commentate the whole game, or do you want me to just cut it down to highlights? That is going to be one of the top straw polls down below. There's probably going to be 2, 3, maybe even 4 straw polls for you guys to vote on. You need to vote on them, and if you don't, I then can't sort of give an opinion on what you guys want, so I will have to make the final decision. But the first straw poll is regarding, do you want me to highlight the simulated games or watch them throughout the whole 5 minutes, the full 0 to 90 minutes? Go and vote and let me know down below as well what you guys have voted upon. Before we get into the game against Southampton, the bit that you guys have been waiting for, me cracking out this very important book. And that's exactly what we're about to do. Now, for anyone that hasn't watched episode 1 or may have skipped this part, I just want to explain a little bit that although it looks like we have got a lot of money, and that is because I done a £100 million takeover. That 100 million was left there as a safety net. That safety net is put there in case in real life, Liverpool buy any players. If Liverpool, now bear in mind, as I'm recording this, the transfer window shuts tomorrow. Tomorrow. So if Liverpool don't sign any players between now and tomorrow, the 100 million will just sit there as a safety net and never be spent. It could be spent in future transfer windows, but only on players that Liverpool buy in real life. If Liverpool don't buy anyone, we don't spend it. So our money right now to spend is the 107.45 million, and that was the 88 million from the start, and then we've had prize money from pre-season and of course winning the Community Shield. So we have 107.45 million to spend right now on transfers. Forget about the other 100 million. That's gone. That's written off. That's in the background. You guys don't need to focus on that. That is just in case Liverpool sign a player. So I want to use already money there to sign it. So I've still got money to sign who I want. As we go over to the transfers, there is already some players in the transfer hub. So let's load up the transfer hub. So we've added some players. I will now open the magical Liverpool book where we can go through and discuss what transfers I have put in this book. And as I said from episode 1, these transfers are either players that have been rumoured in the media or rumoured legit because of inside information that I get. So there's going to be players on here that you might think straight away, Brad, they shouldn't be on the list. They've gone somewhere else. That's fine, guys. They were put on the list because, of course, we were linked with them. Yes, they may have gone somewhere else, but I just wanted to discuss why they were on the list, how they were on the list, and whether they're staying on the list. So the first one is a great example. Jamal Lewis. Played for Norwich, has now been signed by Newcastle. But before Liverpool got Tsimikas, we were in the running to get Jamal Lewis. He's now gone to Newcastle. I wish him his best at Newcastle, but he was on the list because at one stage, Liverpool in real life were linked with him. We can now remove him from the shortlist because, of course, he's gone to Newcastle. He never ended up coming to Liverpool. He's not an option anymore. The next man is Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth. Of course, they've been relegated. Again, another relegated team, and we were interested in their left-back. Same sort of scenario. He's still at his current club, which is Bournemouth. He didn't end up going anywhere, but we signed Kostas Tsimikas. So we don't need a left-back anymore. So again, we can remove him. And I'm just explaining to you guys, that's why they're on the list. We were linked with them in real life, or I got inside information that we were putting an offer in, or we were talking behind the scenes with him. So that's why they were on the list. I'm pretty sure them two were public knowledge, but obviously we went and got Tsimikas, so we don't need a left-back anymore. But you guys should now understand why some of these players might be on the list. Up next is the centre-back position. Obviously, we had the left-back, we've brought a left-back in. Centre-back, the reason I've focused so much on centre-backs is for numbers, really. We sold Dejan Lovren. And although I think Dejan Lovren was never going to get in the team anymore, we haven't replaced him. Yes, we've been playing a youngster called Williams at centre-back in the Carabao Cup, but he's not in this game. We don't have the opportunity to actually play with him in this game. I don't know if just having the likes of Matip, Gomez, Van Dijk, Sepp Van Berg is going to be enough. I think we may need to look and put our focus into a centre-back. Which brings me to the second straw poll of today's episode. These are the 4 centre-backs that we have been massively, massively linked with. We've got Issa Mandi from Real Betis. We did have Ben White, who we're now not going to be able to buy. He doesn't have a release clause, so we can't buy him. And he's just moved to Getafe CF. I believe he was with Leeds. I could be wrong, but I think last season he was on loan somewhere in the Championship. I believe he was a Leeds player. He's already been sold to Getafe, so we can't now look to bring in the young English centre-back. So we're going to have to remove him from the shortlist, which now leaves me with 3 centre-backs. It's a Mandi from Real Betis, which we've been heavily linked with. Ozan Kabak, I believe that's how you pronounce the name anyway, the Turkish man from Schalke, only 20 years old. And the big man, who personally, for how much he costs in real life and on FIFA, I think he's probably a little bit past it. But he's the same nationality as Sadio Mane, and that man is Koulibaly, the 29-year-old Napoli centre-back, overall 88. Now, of course, with Kabak and Mandi, we haven't done any overall scouts. I'm going to be sending the scouts out to get a report on them. But the first straw poll is going to be regarding these centre-backs. Now, there's going to be a 4th option in this centre-back vote, and that's going to be for other. And this is where you guys come in the comment section. Is there another centre-back that you have heard that Liverpool are linked with or think would be a sort of realistic transfer? Because obviously I'll put on screen for you guys. You voted, I think there was 39 votes, and it romped it. You guys want a realistic Liverpool career mode on FIFA 21. That's what I'm giving you guys. But if you think there's another centre-back that I don't have on that list that may not have been linked with Liverpool but could sort of be a realistic transfer, like for me, I think, I can't remember his first name, but his name's Dunk. He's from Brighton. I think Dunk would be a great player to come in and sort of be a number and make up the loss of Dejan Lovren. But if you guys want to vote other, that's fine. But make sure you put a comment below with a player and tell me, Brad, I voted for other. I think this player is a realistic player. Whether he was linked or not, or whether he was in the papers linked or not, as long as he is sort of realistic and fits what we are building here at Liverpool, then you can certainly drop a comment down below and vote other. Otherwise, you're voting for Mandi, Kabak, or Koulibaly. Now we come on to this man here who looks absolutely insane. Dennis Zakaria, CDM, centre-back, centre-mid, Switzerland, 23 years of age, from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now this is where things are going to get very, very tricky, and we're going to sort of really dig in here to the team and maybe announce some things that I may not have wanted to announce yet, but we're going to announce them. On screen for you guys over here, should be here somewhere. Hopefully it's not covering me, but hopefully here somewhere along here, you will now see a Liverpool squad. This, for me, is Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool A team. So you can see that obviously every player that is sort of highlighted is the usual starting 11, and the player that is sort of underneath them but slightly not highlighted, a little bit more darker, they're sort of the rotated player that could play in that position. So when we look at this Liverpool A team, which I think is sort of Klopp's old team, or the team that Klopp uses in real life, we've got Mane at left wing with Diego Jota behind him. That's how he sort of plays right now. Firmino with Minamino behind him, which is what he plays now. Firmino comes off, Minamino comes on. Yes, there's Ryan Brewster, there's Divock Origi, there's plenty of other players, but I'm just telling you sort of the 2 players that I think Klopp right now plays in these positions. Then on the right wing, we've got Salah and we've got Shaqiri. There's the front 3. We've got the front 3 plus the players that would come on as a substitute in their position, or if they were starting ahead of them. In the midfield, we've obviously got the 3. We've got the 2 centre mids and a CDM. We've got Gini Wijnaldum on the left centre mid with Thiago coming on behind him. Henderson on the right centre mid with Naby Keita on coming behind him. Now, I know you guys might be thinking, Brad, what about Milner? What about Oxlade-Chamberlain? What about Curtis Jones? Forget about them, guys. This is just the starting 11 with players that would come on behind them. Yes, Curtis Jones could be in there. Yes, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain could be in there. But this is the team that I think Klopp has in his mind when he puts out a starting 11 and who's going to come on for what player. Then in CDM, we've got Fabinho with Marko Grujic behind him. But I think we are currently, in real life, playing Marko Grujic in the Carabao Cups for a bit of window shopping. And what that means is we're putting a player on display for other teams to look how he plays and potentially become interested. I don't think Marko Grujic is in the future plans of Jurgen Klopp in real life. And this is where I announced that also Marko Grujic is unfortunately not in my plans for the future of this Liverpool career mode, which is why I think we need to look at a CDM. Yes, we could drop Henderson to CDM, rotate him with Fabinho, and then bring Ox and Naby Keita in for example, or Naby Keita and Milner, or Milner and the Ox as that right centre mid. But I'm just showing you guys Klopp's A team. Then I'm going to show you Klopp's B team, which could be a reverse team. Then I'm going to show you the team I think we should potentially build. So Fabinho and Grujic at CDM, I don't think Grujic is part of Klopp's plans, and I can announce that Grujic isn't part of mine, which is why Dennis Zakaria is on the list for me. At the back, we got Robertson and Tsimikas. That's exactly how it is. Van Dijk and Matip. That's exactly how it is. Gomez and Van Berg. We don't have Lovren anymore, so Van Berg now comes in at centre-back. We've also got Williams in real life, but we don't have him in this career mode, so Sepp Van Berg is sat in there. And then Trent Alexander-Arnold with Nico Williams behind him. Between the stick, Alisson and Adrian. That right there is the team that Klopp plays week in and week out. And if a player needs to come on for another player in that same position, there's the player underneath them. If we now load up, this is Klopp's B team for me. So it's still Mane and Jota. We've now got Firmino and Origi over Minamino. And then we switch Minamino over to the right side. Now, we obviously had Salah with Shaqiri behind in the A team. We could now move Minamino, who is a right winger, to behind Salah, bringing then Divock Origi through for Bobby Firmino. In the midfield, we've got Thiago now on the left and Keita coming on for him. We've got Gini on the right with Curtis Jones coming on for him. And then Henderson rotated with Fabinho. So this is sort of the other option that Klopp's gone if he wants to go more attacking. He's got Thiago and Keita on the left side, Gini and Jones on the right side, and then he drops Fabinho and rotates him with Fabinho and Henderson in the central defensive midfield. Then, of course, at the back, this is where we've got another option now due to the new development task. Robertson and Tsimikas, that's normal. Van Dijk and Matip, that's normal. But hold on. Gomez and Fabinho. We can now convert players from CDM to centre mid to cam to centre back. We can go Trent at right back to centre mid to striker. We can now, through development plans, move players into new positions, which becomes their favourite position. We could move Fabinho back to centre back, which is where Gomez at the early start of this season in real life, where he was out injured, Fabinho slotted in there. Fabinho done a great job. We then, of course, got Trent and Williams still at right back and Alisson and Adrian. So left back, right back and goalkeeper don't really change. Same for sort of left wing and right wing. They don't really change. But I'm showing you guys the options we have because this is sort of what Liverpool do right now in real life. But this is probably going to shock the system and shock you all as I now put up a potential of my starting 11 with rotated players. We've got Sadio Mane on the left wing with still Diego Jota behind him. Through the middle at striker, we have Kylian Mbappe. Behind him, we have the rotated man of Taki Minamino. And a lot of you may start looking around the pitch now and you may have already spotted it. But where is Bobby Firmino? We'll hold on just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll get to that in just a moment's time. On the right wing, we've still got Salah and Shaqiri. Of course, we've got Harvey Elliott that can come through. We've got young players, Harry Wilson, that can still slot in there. But this is just sort of the team that I want to go for, the team that I would rotate. And then instead of playing the three in the midfield with two centre mids and a CDM, your boy MassiveBrad has gone all out here. We've swapped it to two centre mids, but this time with a central attacker midfield. And in that central attacker midfield, we have Roberto Firmino and behind him Naby Keita. Now, Roberto Firmino is currently a centre forward. We could convert him from a centre forward to a central attacker midfield. Now, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this, you'll probably agree a lot. And that is on the simple fact of Bobby Firmino. Not only is he a centre forward for Liverpool, he doesn't score a tremendous amount of goals, but what he does in the midfield and tracking back and breaking the play up is incredible. And I think if Jurgen Klopp in real life signed Kylian Mbappe, Firmino would drop into a midfield role, and I think it would make the team tick. So we would have Firmino and Keita at the central attacker midfield. Yes, Curtis Jones can play there. We could play Gini there. We could play Thiago. There's plenty of players that can play there. But the main two for me would be Firmino, and then coming off the bench would be Naby Keita. Meaning then in the left centre mid, we would have Gini Wijnaldum and Thiago rotating. And on the right centre mid, we would have Henderson and Jones. And now by moving the pack around, Firmino moves from centre forward to central attacking midfield. Mbappe slips in for Firmino. Firmino drops back. But because Firmino drops back, it means we have to drop one of the other midfielders. That midfielder is Fabinho. But if you look at the back now, we've still got Robertson and Tsimikas. We've still got Van Dijk and Matip. But we now have Gomez and Fabinho. We convert Fabinho to a centre-back. We convert Firmino from a centre-forward to a central attacking midfield. And we could build that team right there. The front three of Mane, Jota, Mbappe, Minamino, Salah, Shaqiri. We've still then got Harry Wilson, Harvey Elliott, Divock Origi, Ryan Brewster. Plenty of players that can still slot in there in other competitions. But we announce Mbappe 2020. Do we do it? Hold your horses. We're going to be going back to the transfer list in just a moment's time. But that is my idea of what we could do with this team. Now, I will put the Liverpool A back up for you guys to see right now, which is the current team and how Klopp plays it. We've then, of course, got Liverpool B, the B team that he could also play with a few more rotated players in there. You might like A, you might like B, but you may also like my Liverpool team. There's Klopp's A and B. This could potentially be my A team. Bringing Kylian Mbappe to Liverpool to play at striker and move Firmino to a central attacking midfield. We would have Bobby Firmino feeding the pass to Salah, to Mane, or straight to Kylian Mbappe. I think that is a great option. We will have to wait to see what you guys think. If you don't want Kylian Mbappe, that's fine. We can look at the other options of still playing a CDM. To bring Mbappe in, we have to change the formation and play a cam. If we stick with what we've got now, we play a CDM, and that's where Dennis Zakaria comes in to be behind Fabinho. Dennis Zakaria coming on for Fabinho. I think it is potentially a great option. He can also play centre-back and centre-mid. We could even play him in the centre-mid, rotating with Henderson, with Keita, with the Ox, with Gini, with Thiago. I just think this team is unbelievable, but we still need a little bit more depth and a little bit more class worth of players throughout this team. So if we can do that, I think we are in a very good position. But I've just talked to you guys what my plans potentially are, and obviously the straw polls down below will help you make the decision and help me make the decision of what we do with this Liverpool team. Moving on from CDM, we move to right mid. Now obviously, we've got to play there in CDM. I had some players in centre mid, but we signed Thiago. So we don't need a centre mid. So I removed the centre mids. We've got Thiago. We've got plenty of centre mids. We don't need it. We now have some players to play out on the right wing, which we were linked with in real life. We've got Jeremy Doku from RSC Anderlecht, the 18-year-old Belgium who can play right wing and left wing. And then we have Saar from Watford, another team that got relegated who was heavily linked with Liverpool. And I believe, from what I know, is still fairly heavily linked with Liverpool. Supposedly an agreement has been made for a transfer amount. Contracts are sorted. It's just whether Liverpool want to pull the gun and bring them to Liverpool. That's just my inside information. Both of these playing right wing and right mid. We would convert Saar from right mid straight away to right wing, and we would have Salah with Saar behind him and maybe look to offload Shaqiri. And then with Jeremy Doku, we'd do exactly the same. Although we can play left wing, we'd still have him on the right wing, and we'd put him sort of in there with the likes of Harvey Elliott. We'd have him as a young player for the future, maybe coming through into the team in Season 2. He'd be one for the future. This is going to be fairly simple. There's going to be another straw poll now asking you guys, should we bring Jeremy Doku in or Saar? Or the third option is going to be, don't sign a right winger. Use Shaqiri. Use Harvey Elliott. Use Minamino. Use players that we've already got. So the next straw poll, I do believe this is the third, is do we sign a right winger? And the options are yes, Doku, yes, Saar, or no, use what we've got. Go and vote on that straw poll right now, guys. Next, we move on to left wing. Only one player that we were linked with other than Diego Jota. Now, obviously, I could have added all of these players to the list that we've ever been linked with, but I want to just focus on positions, I think. So, like, we've been linked with other left backs, but we've obviously had the left backs, we've signed the left back. When it comes to the left wing position, we were linked with Dembele, but we brought in Diego Jota. I put him on the list, but he's not staying on the list. He's now linked with Manchester United, and I think with us bringing in Diego Jota, we certainly wouldn't be signing him. Moving on to the striker. Straight away, you can see Avena. Hold on, Brad. He went to Chelsea. I know, guys, but we were heavily linked with him. I made sure I made the list. Now, before he went to Chelsea, he was already in my diary, ready to sign. He's now gone to Chelsea, so he won't be a player that we do sign, but we were heavily linked with him, and that's why he's on the list. So remove Avena. Patson Daka from Red Bull Salzburg. Hugely linked with him. Comes in, could potentially just rotate with Bobby Firmino, with Minamino, and we bring in a solid striker to sort of give us the goals. Bobby Firmino will give us the assists. Do we need an out-and-out striker like a Patson Daka? Or like a Jonathan David? Or like a Kylian Mbappe? He does cost 167 million. Remember, we don't have that. Although technically we have it, 100 million is not ours. We would have to sell players. We may have to look to offload the likes of Grujic, maybe Shaqiri, maybe some other players like Ben Woodburn. We'd have to sort of look to offload them. Nathaniel Phillips, Van Berg, Keller. Maybe we'd have to look at selling them over actually loaning some of those players out. But the last and final straw poll for you guys is regarding the striker. Now, depending on what you guys want to do with the team, whether you want to stick to what Klopp's got now or whether you want to go for the team that I have just created, that would mean you'd need to vote for Kylian Mbappe. But the fourth straw poll will be, should we sign a striker? Option 1, Patson Daka. Option 2, Jonathan David. Option 3, Kylian Mbappe. Or option 4, stick with what we've got. Work with what we've got. Now, I know a lot of people saying, Brad, it's a realistic career mode, signing Kylian Mbappe. It wouldn't be realistic. Yes, it would, guys. And I'll tell you why. We've been heavily linked. The only two teams Kylian Mbappe has said he's interested in the future would be Real Madrid and Liverpool. We've just obviously now signed with Nike. Kylian Mbappe is a Nike star. Kylian Mbappe could happen in the future. I honestly think that he will definitely leave PSG, but he will go to Real Madrid or Liverpool, and they will be the only two teams that fight it out for him. I don't think he'd go to your City, your United, your Barcelona, your Juventus. He won't go there. I think it's between Real Madrid and Liverpool. And if you guys want me to sign him and make Kylian Mbappe 2020 happen, then you need to vote on this. But for the striker, Daka, David, Mbappe, or the other option, the final option, is to stick with what we've got and work with the team that we have right now and maybe look at bringing someone else in. So if we don't sign a striker and we don't sign a right mid, we'll probably look at bringing Zakaria in at CDM. We need to bring a centre-back in my opinion. So you guys are voting for Mandy, Kabak, Koulibaly, or you're voting other and dropping a comment down below with the other realistic signing that we could bring into Liverpool. But we've gone on quite a lot there about the transfers, but it's something that we sort of need to get out there. We need to talk about transfers, and I need to show you guys the Liverpool A, B, and C team. C being the team that I think would be unbelievable to create, and the A and B option being the team that Klopp currently has, and the team that he plays, and the team that he could also play with the players that are already at Liverpool. But we are about to take on Southampton for the final game in today's episode. I know at the start, guys, it's going to be very difficult and these videos are going to be sort of dragged out with a lot of talking. We have to talk about it. I have to tell you guys my ideas of what I want to do with this team. Ideas regarding transfers, ideas regarding development. Now, obviously, we were meant to talk about development in today's episode because of how long this episode is now and how long it's going to take to edit and render. And bear in mind, guys, episode 1 was edited and rendered in 1080p, 100 frames per second. It is now crystal clear, a lot better than how the Liverpool career mode and Dortmund career mode look, especially if you go back and look at one of those videos compared to this one and look at myself. I am so much more clear, so much more HD. We're not far off being 4K already just with the face cam that you guys are seeing right now. We're going to have to stretch this out. Today's was all about playing games and transfers. The next episode, we'll have to look over transfers, maybe try and talk about development. Maybe I'll do development in the background. Maybe you guys can leave comments regarding development, what you think I should do for the team. If you're voting for me to bring Kylian Mbappe in, you probably want me to convert Firmino to a central attacking midfield. Or do we keep him at a centre forward and striker and have Mbappe as our main striker and Bobby Firmino as a backup. Bobby Firmino coming off the bench would not be a bad option. But for the final game, we are against the Saints Southampton. It's the second game in the Premier League. We managed to get a 1-0 victory in our first game against the new promoted Fulham. Can we get a point? 3 points. Can we get a point? Can we get a win and 3 points when we travel to St Mary's Stadium? We are going to simulate this match. We are going to be watching it. You guys can now see the lineup. It's the usual lineup that we are currently using. We've got Mane out on the left wing. Oh, it's getting kicked off. I didn't even get to give you guys the breakdown. I do apologise. I'll make sure to do it before we sort of get it kicked off next time. But it is Southampton to get it kicked off in this first half period. I will be cutting this down to highlights for you guys rather than playing the full game. But the first straw poll you guys voted on. Ball in. Oh, that was close. Gineppo nearly put one in the back of the net. Come on, Alisson. Come on, Bobby. Feed it into Fabinho. Through to Mane. Yes, Mane scores against his old club. Sadio Mane is on fire for us at the moment. Sadio Mane scores in the 21st minute to give us the lead. Well done, Sadio. Good lad. Oh, we're not playing great when it looks at the ratings. Let's play this out. Come on. Ball over the top. Mane going to get in behind again. Mane going to do something with it here. Mane shoots. And it's a great save from McCarthy again. No, we're going to lose the ball and they're going to look at breaking out and it is going to be half time. Very, very level. A lot going on in the middle of the park right now. Teams not really going for each other. Fairly level on possession. We've had 2 shots, 1 chance. They've had 1 shot, 1 chance. I am going to resume the second half. I'm not going to make any changes yet. Going to keep an eye on fitness. We've got to be careful here. They're playing with it nicely on the edge of the box. Ward-Prowse puts it through. It's a penalty. Van Dijk gives away a penalty. Danny Ings, we're not going to be jumping in. We're letting the whole game simulate Danny Ings, who is in great form already in real life. Soto, it's 1-1. Well done, Danny Ings. It's 1-1. Back to Trent. Come on, Trent. Find the passes. Fabinho. Here's Bobby through to Gini, and it's 2-1. Gini and Mane in great form at the moment, and it is Gini Wijnaldum to bang one in the back of the net. Well done, Gini. Come on, let's get in behind. Nicely done. Come on, Jota. Come on, Jota. It's 3-1 and Jota gets on the score sheet. He's only been on for 4 minutes. And Diego Jota scores his first goal for Liverpool, wearing the red shirt, or in this case, the blue shirt. Come on. Take the ball. Get rid of it. Just hoop for Gini. And we're going to get the win over Southampton 3-1. Great, great, great result. So in the first half, Sadio Mane scores the first in the 21st. We then get to half-time. We had the 1-0 lead. Very happy with how we played in the first half. We were solid. We kept the ball. We played it around nicely. Danny Ings then scored a penalty, unfortunately, after Virgil van Dijk gave a penalty away in the 58th, which Ings did convert, taking it to 1-1. Che Adams picks up an injury in the 63rd, meaning he was going off for Obafemi in the 77th. Gini Wijnaldum then scores in the 83rd minute, giving us the 2-1 lead. Diego Jota coming on for Mane in the 83rd. Thiago coming on for Fabinho in the 83rd. And only 5 minutes later, Diego Jota, the ex-Wolverhampton man, the man that Jurgen Klopp signed to rotate with Sadio Mane, puts the third in the back of the net. The final nail in the coffin. And we do go on to beat Southampton 3-0. We don't keep a clean sheet, but we bagged those 3 important points to take back to Liverpool, to take back to Anfield. And we have won 2 out of 2 in our Premier League journey so far. Right, guys, and here we are back at the Central for the final time in today's episode. And what an episode it has been. It's been jam-packed, very similar to episode 1. A lot, and I mean a lot going on. 3 games, transfers, tactics, looking at future teams. It's been absolutely incredible. A lot to get through, but we did manage to get through it. First off, we played Arsenal and beat them 2-1, meaning that we won our first piece of silverware after only becoming a manager 3 weeks ago. We've already lifted our first piece of silverware, that piece being the FA Community Shield. We then took on Fulham for our first game at home in the Premier League, in which we managed to beat them 1-0. Not the most exciting of games, but we got the job done. And then, of course, we've just won our second game in the Premier League against the Saints Southampton after beating them 3-1 in today's simulated game. Some more great news. Gini Wijnaldum has sent me a message. Hi, boss. Good to see you. It's great things are going so well for me and the team at the moment. I don't think I've ever enjoyed my football as much as I am right now. I'm happy at the club, so I was wondering if I might take this time, or if this time is a good time for us to talk about renewing my contract. Gini, yes, it is. And sign the thing in real life. Of course, we want Gini to be a Liverpool player. So off camera, I'll go through. And if anyone's due up in 12 months on their contract, I'll certainly try and renew it and do my best unless the player wants away from the team. We end today's episode top of the Premier League. Okay, there's only 4 teams, should I say, that have played 2 games at the moment. That's us, Leicester. We just played Southampton, and of course another team must have played. We are currently top with 2 wins out of 2. That doesn't mean the likes of City, Spurs, Everton, West Brom won't be up there when they play their second game. But we end on a high note. 3 wins, a piece of silverware, 6 points in the Premier League. We're finishing top of the Premier League. We've talked about transfers. Mbappe 2020 about to happen for all the Liverpool fans that would love it to happen out there. We'll have to wait and see till the next episode and see what you guys vote for. But as we head over now to the calendar, we can discuss the 3 games coming up in the next episode. So the first game is against Arsenal at home in the Premier League. We've already beat Arsenal in today's episode, but that was in the Community Shield. We've got them now in the Premier League. We then take on Brendan Rodgers' Leicester away from home in the Premier League. And then we move into the month of September, where we have the Liverpool derby. And, in fact, going backwards, does the transfer window actually shut? The transfer window shuts on the 31st of August. So we have to make signings in the next episode. Meaning you guys, let me just turn off my headphones because you guys are probably hearing battery low all the time, thinking, where's that coming from? I'm turning it off now. In the next episode, episode 3, we must make some signings. So you guys, if you haven't voted on the straw polls, there's 4 of them down below. The first one is regarding, do you want me to cut the simulated game into highlights or watch the whole game in simulation and just commentate it for you guys? Option 2 is regarding a centre-back. Option 3 is regarding a right wing. Straw poll 2 and 3. And straw poll 4 is, do we bring a striker in? Do we potentially bring Kylian Mbappe to Liverpool? It'd take a lot to do it, but I think we could do it. We'd need to raise the funds. We can't touch that 100 million. That is a rule. But if we adjusted the wage budget that we've currently got and forgot about that 100 million, I think we could make it happen. But the 3 games, Arsenal, Leicester and Everton. Well, of course, we've got to play the Merseyside derby at Anfield against Everton. So we're playing that game. Leicester are currently in great form. They're currently only 3 points. They're 2 points behind us, second in the Premier League. Arsenal, we may have to look at. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate the game against Arsenal because we're at home. Bit of a risk, but I've got to pick 2 out of the 3 games. Simulate the game against Arsenal. Play the game against Leicester away from home because they're in good form, and obviously being away from home, we need to make sure that we're getting all the points that we can. Hopefully against Arsenal, we've got that home advantage. Which then, of course, leaves the game against Everton to play back at Anfield for the final game in the next episode. And of course, we're going to be ending the transfer window when that shuts on the 31st of August. Of course, in real life, it didn't shut till the 5th of October. We're not so lucky in this career mode. It's going to shut on the 31st of August. So we need to make transfers and need to bring players in, move players out in the next episode. So hopefully there might be some ideas and comments that you guys can come up with for the comment conference from what I've said, whether it's regarding a player, whether it's regarding the transfer window shut, and whether it's one of those games, something that just happened in today's episode. If you guys want to have your comment put in the next episode in the comment conference, then make sure you drop a comment down below, use the hashtag comment conference, and make sure it's a question that I can answer live from you guys, the media. But that is now going to bring us to the end of today's episode, guys. It's been an incredible episode. I'm really excited to get this Liverpool career mode kicked off. We're only just starting right now, and long term, this is going to be one of the best Liverpool career modes. In fact, this is going to be one of the best FIFA 21 career modes. Forget the team. Best FIFA 21 career modes that you guys could watch on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's going to be down here now for you. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's also going to be down here for you guys now. But that is going to do it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you subscribed if you haven't already. Drop a comment down below. Make sure you ding dong that notification bell. And I have been MassiveBrad. Peace out.